Do you recall a particularly impossible deal that you pulled off? Uh, yeah, I think everybody who's been in sales long enough has had a deal where they feel like, hey, if anybody else had this deal, it wouldn't have gone through. 14 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe at this point, I was selling wheelchair accessible vehicles, fleet sales, and I was selling them to somebody in Florida. I don't remember the name of the client, but they had to have two vans, two vans for a taxi cab fleet or for like an emergency medical transport, or maybe I think that's what it was. I think they were going to be out of compliance if they couldn't get these vehicles in time to meet some contract that they had. Well, me being the salesperson, like I promised the world, right? So I was a commercial sales director. I did like a fleet sales type stuff. So I would sell 10 vehicles at a time. In this case, I sold 2. And I said, oh yeah, they're going to be there in a week or whatever it is. But we didn't have a truck. We did not have a truck. Like there was no way these vehicles were getting to Florida from Michigan is where we were at. And I remember talking to my, were we married at the time? Possibly my wife. And no, we were not married at the time. So we were engaged. And I remember thinking like, hey, how are we going to get these vehicles to Florida? And I remember talking her into, hey, do you want to go to Florida? So I'm selling my wife, my fiance at the time, girlfriend, on going to Florida. And she's like, well, what's the deal? I'm like, well, we got to drive there. We got to deliver a couple of vehicles. So ended up driving overnight, right? So I forget, we left at like 4 in the afternoon or something. Drove straight through the night. And I remember sleeping maybe 6 hours or something in this motel room, and then getting up and doing it again and driving, all the way down to Florida and making that trip, basically almost straight through with about 6 hours of sleep time. And I don't think that deal would have happened if I hadn't delivered those vehicles. I don't know what they would have done. They would have lost their contract. They would have been so mad. And presumably that contract was a lot of money, and those folks bought a lot of vehicles from me. So there you go. There's my impossible story. I drove, I don't know, whatever it is, 18 hours down to Florida.